The Minnesota Lynx just made the biggest move. On the 3rd of August 2025, Dallas traded DiJonai Carrington to the Lynx.
Familiarity. This is the return of the 2022 Connecticut Sun backcourt with Courtney and T. You played with Land for 3 years at Stanford, too.
Okay, do you think the Minnesota Lynx just pulled off a heist in daylight? It surely looks like it. Like, they already owned the WNBA's best record at 24-5.
As we see today, there's so many things that we make progress in that are getting rolled back, and we have to make sure that we're continuing to shine the light on opportunities for women. And I thought today.
But they still decided they weren't content to stand pat. Now, most of you might be thinking, why would the league's top team shake up its roster? Well, because the Minnesota is all in on a championship, and they saw an opportunity to get even better.
The finish for Minnesota. Collier lays it in, plus the foul.
And if you remember, Carrington is the WNBA Most Improved Player of 2024 and was named to the All-Defensive First Team last season. She's exactly the kind of gritty defender teams covet in the playoffs. By trading for her, the Lynx added an extra padlock to an already secure vault. From the Minnesota's perspective, this was a no-brainer, why not move? Cheryl Reeve knows championships are won by shoring up even the smallest cracks.
It's intense.
Come on!
She's a competitor. She's always prepared for the what-ifs.
Right, so you're just posting. All right. You're open, you go.
Like Michael Jordan says, to be successful, you have to be selfish, or else you'll never achieve. That's what Minnesota did. They were already pretty good, but now they could be unbreakable. Carrington's defensive tenacity addresses that perfectly.
Fouls, not five. Cookies, Carrington collides to the basket, 21.
Plus, timing played a role. There's one more good reason. Lynx superstar Napheesa Collier had a recent ankle scare.
Ankle area, rolled it really bad, but you don't want to speculate. You never know what the injury could.
Bringing in Carrington provides insurance and extra firepower, while Collier heals up and fortifies the team for the intense postseason ahead. Minnesota smelled blood in the water. Dallas was struggling at 8-21 and looking to rebuild, so the Lynx traded on Carrington like a team that knows its championship window is open right now.
1 second for Carrington, lays it in at the horn.
That's why the Lynx believe Carrington could be the missing piece to push them over the top this year. But this is only the reason why they traded on Carrington. The real talk comes up on the performance. Will she be able to make it? How good would Carrington be for the Minnesota Lynx? For fans who haven't followed her closely, DiJonai Carrington is a 5'20" guard, forward known for her toughness and defensive prowess.
Harris, no, Carrington is there. More second chance point.
At 27, she's a 5-year veteran who blossomed with the Connecticut Sun before joining Dallas. In 2024 with Connecticut, she averaged a career-high 12.7 points, 5.0 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and 1.56 steals per game, which resulted in lifting the Sun towards the semifinals.
For the game.
Here comes Carrington with the left hand. Oh, they're starting to put on a show here.
That breakout season earned her the 2024 Most Improved Player Award and a spot on the All-Defensive First Team. This season in Dallas, Carrington has been a consistent performer on an otherwise struggling team. She's put up 10.4 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.1 steals per game across 20 contests. Those numbers made her the Wings' third leading scorer, behind only the young phenom Paige Buchers and all-star Arike Ogunbowale.
Pass by Carrington. Harris, no. Carrington is there. More second chance points for the Sun.
In other words, even on a team featuring a superstar rookie and a proven scoring guard, Carrington was a solid offensive contributor while also typically guarding the opponent's best perimeter player. What makes Carrington special isn't dropping 25 points a night, it's her two-way impact. Carrington lives in those gritty details. And don't overlook her experience. She's played 27 playoff games in her career, including a WNBA Finals in 2022 with Connecticut.
No look pass to Carrington. Plus a foul. Carrington drives. 2 and 1.
as much as we talk about
Come playoff time, that know-how is invaluable on a team with title aspirations. Now, to be fair, Carrington is not a perfect player. I mean, no one is perfect in this world. Her offensive game can be limited. She's a career 39% shooter from the field and isn't known as a great three-point threat, around 28% from deep. She's more of a slasher and mid-range shooter than a floor spacer. But in Minnesota, she won't be asked to carry the scoring load. The Lynx have plenty of scoring firepower. They need Carrington for her strengths, lockdown defense, energy, and versatility. And those, she provides in spades. All right. Coming off to the main point, is it a good deal for the Lynx? One reason fans and analysts are calling this trade a steal for Minnesota is what they had to give up. The Lynx sent out Diamond Miller and Carly Samuelson, plus a future second-round pick. Miller was the number 2 overall draft pick in 2023 and certainly has potential. She even made the all-rookie team in 2024. But truth be told, she wasn't a key piece of the Lynx rotation this season. In fact, her minutes and production had dipped, like just 4.1 points per game in 2025, as she found herself on the fringes of Coach Reeves' rotation. The Lynx have a veteran-heavy, title-focused roster, and Miller, while talented, often looked like the odd player out. By trading her, Minnesota is essentially admitting, we're trying to win this year, not groom a prospect. It's a bold strategy, but given their league-leading status, it makes sense. While Carly Samuelson was a role-playing guard sidelined for the season with a foot injury, offering no on-court impact, Dallas waived her immediately after the trade, likely to replace her with a younger, developmental player. Honestly, she was a salary filler. In the WNBA, such picks rarely make rosters, so the cost was minimal. Head coach Cheryl Reeve embraced a win-now mindset, swapping Miller's potential for Carrington's immediate impact. So, in a nutshell, Minnesota stole DiJonai Carrington in the sense that they acquired a high-impact defender without subtracting anything from their current on-court performance. They basically upgraded a bench slot into a likely starter or key sixth woman. For a team eyeing the trophy, that's a huge win. Now, we need to study the other side as well. Because Dallas has rebuild mode activated, so why would Dallas give up a quality player like Carrington? It's painful for Wings fans, but the franchise is clearly moving toward a rebuild. At 8-21, Dallas has had a rough season. Trading away a 7-year-old veteran like Carrington for a younger, high-upside player in Diamond Miller and a future draft pick signals a focus on the future. Essentially, the Wings are saying, we're not winning this year, so let's gather pieces that might help us win in 2 or 3 years. Well, that's a smart move. They are looking for long-term success. There's plenty of reason for Dallas to be optimistic about Diamond Miller. You might. Remember, Miller was the number 2 pick in 2023 for a reason. As a rookie, she averaged 12.1 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, and made the all-rookie team. Dallas also gets that second-round pick and the rights to Samuelson. But truthfully, Miller is the crown jewel for them in this deal. They even made additional moves, like waiving veteran center Tayera McCowan to create roster space, showing a commitment to the youth movement. McCowan was a solid center, but the Wings' new management, with Curt Miller, is reshaping the team after a disappointing 2024 season. This trade fits that agenda. Well, if you're a die-hard WNBA fan, you're probably thinking about how DiJonai Carrington stood up against some of the league's headline names. Would she be able to compete with players like Caitlin Clark and Paige Buchers, who are under the spotlight these days? The comparison is interesting because Carrington's value is a bit different than a pure scorers or playmakers. Let's start with Paige Buchers. Since she's been Carrington's teammate in Dallas up until this week, Paige is the rookie sensation, the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. For context, Buchers has been averaging around 18 points, 5 assists, and nearly 2 steals a game for Dallas. She's already top 10-inch the entire WNBA in points and assists as a rookie, which is insane. Next to those two, Carrington was a complementary piece, offensively, as we noted, about 10 points per game, mainly hustling for putbacks, fast break layups, and the occasional mid-range jumper. She wasn't running the offense or taking the last-second shot. That's Paige or Arike's job. Now, comparing Carrington to someone like Caitlin Clark is tricky. Caitlin is in that similar mold to Paige as an offensive superstar. Caitlin and Paige are younger and have generational talent on offense, limitless shooting range, flashy passes, and the ability to drop 3 0+ points on a given night. Carrington doesn't have that kind of scoring arsenal. You won't see her pulling up from the logo like Caitlin or racking up double-digit assists. What Carrington brings to the table is something every superstar needs alongside them, a reliable two-way role player who can do the dirty work. Carrington is that person. She's the one who, in practice, probably made Paige Bucher's work extra hard for every bucket. In terms of pure statistics, Carrington's almost 10 points and 5 rebounds a night won't blow anyone away in a league where players like Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart might average close to 20 to 25 points and 10 rebounds. But context is key. Carrington was the third option in Dallas, yet she still found ways to contribute without a single play being called for her. So, to answer the comparison, no. DiJonai Carrington is not the kind of star who will drop 40 points or make SportsCenter highlights like Caitlin Clark hitting a 30-foot buzzer beater. We are not saying she isn't capable of doing it, like Catalin and Paige did some out-of-the-box performances. But if the Lynx end up facing a team with those kinds of players, Carrington is exactly who they'll assign to slow them down. Why this trade means for the Lynx? It's hard to contain the excitement if you're a Lynx fan. The team is already sitting pretty atop the standings, and now they've added a premier defender with playoff experience. The message from Minnesota's front office is loud and clear: championship or bust. By bringing in Carrington, the Lynx signaled to the rest of the league that they're loading up for what they hope is a deep postseason run. Carrington is likely to slot in as a key rotational piece immediately. Don't be surprised if she even starts some games, or at least closes games when defense is needed. Coach Reeve now has the luxury of mixing and matching lineups. She can throw Carrington at the opposing team's hottest scorer, giving players like Collier or Kayla McBride a breather on defense. Minnesota already had the league's top defense statistically, and now they add another elite defender to the mix. Talk about an embarrassment of riches? As long as Carrington picks up the Lynx's schemes, Minnesota will become even tougher to score against. Offensively, the Lynx will continue to rely on their stars for points. Carrington will chip in her share, maybe 8 to 10 points on hustle plays and the occasional drive, but she doesn't need to force anything. In fact, there may be nights she hardly shoots at all, and that's okay. Minnesota's offense won't revolve around her, and that balance is fine. The Lynx have plenty of shooters and scorers to run their 5-out system. Carrington's job will be to make sure the other team's shooters and scorers have a miserable night. One thing to watch will be how Reeve manages lineups in critical moments. In the playoffs, every possession counts. Having Carrington means Minnesota can, for example, put out a lockdown defensive lineup when protecting a lead or a specific matchup lineup if they need a stop. It gives them a new tool in the toolbox. The only minor caution: Carrington's lack of shooting could, in theory, let defenses cheat off her in late-game situations. But the Lynx are betting that her defensive impact outweighs that. And considering they were already a high-scoring team, they can afford one low-usage defender on the floor. From a narrative standpoint, this trade also raises the stakes for Minnesota. By stealing Carrington, they've painted a target on their back. Not that they didn't have one as the top seed, but now expectations are even higher. If they win the title, everyone will point to this move as a masterstroke that solidified the championship. If they fall short, especially if Diamond Miller blossoms in Dallas down the road, some critics might second-guess giving up on youth. But those are worries for another day right now. The Lynx are all about 2025 and bringing another trophy to Minneapolis. In the last, it's worth injecting a tiny bit of humor into this intense situation. For Dallas, it might feel like getting your wallet stolen and then being handed a lottery ticket as consolation. It might pay off later, but it stings in the moment. For Minnesota, though, this was a slick bit of mid-season shopping. They saw what they wanted, they paid a modest price, and they walked out happy. Now it's on Carrington to prove that this heist was worth it. If she helps the Lynx lock down a WNBA championship, we'll all be looking back and saying the Lynx absolutely fleeced the Wings in this deal. As of today, the consensus is Minnesota got better and didn't mortgage much of their future to do so. The Lynx stole DiJonai Carrington, and they just might steal the 2025 championship because of it. We are so thankful to you for watching this video until the end. If you want to be the member of this channel, let's subscribe, and we will make more videos for you. Until next time.